One essential skill for every church sound tech is to learn how to EQ vocals. They don't just sound good when you plug in a mic and put a great singer in front of it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to EQ vocals using the PreSonus StudioLive Series 3 console. Hey, if we haven't met yet, my name is James and I help church sound techs, worship leaders, and tech directors eliminate the mystery and frustration around sound at church. So if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and mash that subscribe button. There are 4 things that I'm going to do when I'm approaching EQ with every vocal. I don't necessarily do all of them, but I'm at least going to check for these 4 things. The first one is the high pass filter. It gets rid of unwanted rumble and low frequencies coming into the microphone, like the pops from the plosives. If somebody's ever puffed into a microphone and you've heard that kind of boom sound, the high pass filter will get rid of that. Next, we're going to use a low shelf to take care of the proximity effect. The proximity effect is the low frequency boost that happens when we move a directional microphone close to a sound source. If your vocals sound muffled, it's probably because of the proximity effect. Next, we're going to look for resonances in the low mids and then in the high mids as well, and I'll teach you how to hear the differences between those two. So let's go ahead and jump in.
Sing, we lift your name. We lift your name up higher, higher. We lift your name up, Jesus.
So the vocal that we're listening to right now is totally flat. That means we haven't applied any EQ to the vocal at all. And what I want to start with is not on the EQ screen, it's actually on the input page. We can see here where it says high pass filter. If we roll this up, we can see that it's lobbing off a lot of the low frequencies. And I'll start anywhere from 125 to 175, maybe even 200, depending on the singer. One thing that you'll hear me teach a lot is called bracketing. When we're trying to determine what parameters we should set, we turn it up until we've taken it too far or we really notice the result, and then we back it off a little bit, and that's usually a great starting place. So for this, I'm going to turn it up until I hear it get too thin, and then I'm going to back it off a little bit. I'm also going to pull the band mix back just a little bit so that you can hear the vocal a little bit clearer, but still keep it in context.
Higher, higher. We lift your name up, Jesus be. So we'll sing hallelujah, hallelujah for the Lord our God. He reigns, he reigns.
That's definitely too thin.
And we give you glory, you're the Lord our God. You reign.
That's less thin. Let's see what happens when we take it all the way down and hear what we've actually cut out.
Hallelujah for the Lord our God. He reigns, he reigns. We have come
now,
to
just
give
with the microphone,
you the
no band.
glory. We give you glory.
Hear how we can hear some of the band in the background? As we turn up the high pass filter, that should go away.
Let's declare you reign, you reign, you reign, you reign.
Now that I've cleaned some of that up, I don't have to get rid of everything with the high pass filter because I'm going to do some more with the low shelf. If we look at the EQ screen, you can see the 2 barbecue forks in the lower right hand corner. The one over here is the low shelf, and that's going to affect band number 1, so that if we move this up or down, everything below or above that point is going to move up or down by that same amount. I like to take the low shelf and move it down 5 or 6 decibels. And I'm going to sweep it around starting with a lower frequency until I start to hear it clear up just a little bit more. Remember, the high pass filter cleaned it up some, but we're taking it up one more notch to get a little bit more clarity and give us more control in case somebody backs off the microphone and they're singing farther away and we've lost that proximity effect. Then we can just raise the level on this lower band to compensate for that. Let's take a listen.
You reign, you reign, you reign, you reign.
We've gotten too thin, so now we're going to back it off a little bit.
In glory and majesty, stand alone. In glory and majesty,
now we can also back off the gain to see if pulling more down in that frequency range is going to help.
You stand alone. In glory and majesty, stand alone.
We've gone too far again, so let's back it off some.
Stand alone. In glory and majesty you stand. You stand alone.
Now we can hear
You
what
stand
happens when it's
alone.
not there.
In glory and majesty you stand alone. In glory and majesty.
And usually around 5 or 6 dB is enough, but your mileage might vary based on your microphone and your singer. The next thing we're going to address is resonance in the low mids. This usually happens between 4 and 600 hertz. Without this cut, the vocal can still sound covered. Even if you've cut out enough of the low mids with your low shelf, sometimes you have to be a little bit more precise with this one resonant cut. If you cut too much here, the vocal will lose body and feel kind of empty, so we've got to watch out for that as well. I typically make these cuts a little bit narrower so that it's not affecting every frequency in that range, but not so narrow that it does it on some notes and not on other notes. Because singers are singing different notes, the overtones that they're producing are in different ranges as well. So again, we need it kind of Goldilocks, not too narrow and not too wide. Enough talking, let's take a listen.
Stand alone. In glory and majesty stand alone. In glory. So we lift your name up higher. We lift your name up higher.
Again, we've gone too
Sing
thin and it
out.
feels like it's
We
missing
lift your
something.
name up. We lift your name up.
Now if I make it too wide, I hit the button underneath the frequency knob to change to the Q or bandwidth.
Jesus be
I can make this wider.
You stand alone in glory and majesty. You stand alone.
And again, we've cut out more of it, not just that one frequency.
You stand alone. You stand alone. You stand alone in glory and majesty. You stand alone in glory and majesty. You stand
I'm going to move the
alone.
frequency up
You
just a
stand
little bit
alone.
more
So
based
we
on the
sing,
range that he's singing in right now.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, for the Lord our God, He reigns.
Now let me bypass it and see if you can hear the difference.
We give you glory, you're the Lord, and you reign. Hallelujah for the Lord.
Now listening to this by itself, you might be thinking that it sounds a little bit thin, and I would tend to agree with you when we're listening to the vocal by itself. But we're trying to park this vocal on top of a big loud mix, so it has to cut through a little bit more than what we would have if it was singing by themselves. So let me turn the band DCA back up for just a minute so that you can hear the difference with this cut and without it while the band is big and full.
Hallelujah for the Lord our God, yes, He reigns. We have come to give you all the glory. We give you glory, Lord, and you're the Lord our God. You reign. Let's declare you reign. You reign. You reign.
So with the band in, yes, it makes it feel like it can cut through a little bit better. Now the problem with a vocal cutting through a lot and being really loud on top of a big mix is sometimes it can get painful. So in addition to the low mids, we also have to address some things in the high mids depending on the vocal and the singer. It's going to vary from singer to singer and even on various parts of their range. When they're singing low and quiet, you might not need these cuts in the high mids. When they're singing high and loud, you might definitely need these cuts in the high mids. I'm usually trying to target these frequencies with a mild, pretty narrow cut between 1K and 4K. 1K is going to sound nasally, and 4K is going to sound pretty harsh. 2K sounds like a combination of nasally and harsh, and that's the best way I've figured out how to describe it. If we cut too much here, the vocal will sound like it's far away and will lose presence. That also happens if we cut too wide up in these high mids. So if you want your vocals to feel close, you have to be very selective about what frequency you choose. Now, as a pro tip and kind of an advanced way of thinking of things, sometimes resonances like this that can be kind of jumping out and getting you happen in octaves or a doubling of the frequency. So if you've got a problem at 1.6K, you might also have a problem at 3.2K. Putting two smaller notches in those two frequencies can help tame those resonances, but keep your vocal still present and give enough energy in those high mids so that it feels close still. Let's take a look at Joshua's vocal and see what to do here.
You reign. You
This cut's helpful, but it still feels like it's not quite enough. So I'm gonna go up 1 octave from where I am. I'm at 1.69K. So on my high band, I'm gonna turn that frequency to 3.4K or so. It doesn't have to be precise. I'm gonna turn my bandwidth and make sure that it's pretty narrow and try a little bit of a cut here. And I'll bypass one or both of these bands so that you can hear what's happening in those frequencies. The more you can get your vocals sounding good, meaning they're clear but they're not hurting, the more you can turn up your mix overall underneath them, the more energy you can get. So refining your skills and learning to train your ear on what needs to be pulled out for your vocal microphones can really help you push your mix bigger without it hurting. Now, for the most part, I will leave the region above 5 kilohertz alone. And here's why. Right up there is both the S's and the T's of somebody's sound and the breathiness on, or the air on their vocal. So the vowel sounds as they're coming out, it gives this close feeling that if I cut it, it goes away. But if the S's and T's are too much, you might need to insert a De-Esser on your board, but we can't do that on board here. So usually I'll just leave the top end alone and either choose a different microphone if I need to, or just deal with one or the other. Either I have no air on the vowel sounds, or I have a little bit too much S's and T's. It's just one of the compromises that we have when we choose the tools that we do. Now, just for fun, let me bypass the EQ and the high pass filter altogether so that we can hear what it's like without it and see the progress that we've made.
We lift your name higher, higher. We lift your name, Jesus, be glorified. We lift your name higher, higher. We lift your name, Jesus, be glorified. Right here in Corner Church, be glorified. Sing, we lift your name. We lift your name higher, higher. We lift your name, Jesus, be glorified. We lift your name higher, higher. We lift your name, Jesus, be. So we'll sing hallelujah, hallelujah for the Lord our God.
So I hope now you have a better game plan for how you're going to approach EQing your vocals on your PreSonus StudioLive Series 3 console. That is a mouthful. So if you like this video and want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if this was enjoyable for you, let me know by hitting that thumbs up. If you want help identifying what the targets should be for how loud your church should be, how bassy it should be, how to find the right team members and plug people in the right role for your church sound team, I made a free guide called How to Lead Your Church Sound Team. You can find it for free through the link down in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, it's all about the low end, avoid the sound tech solo, and nobody leaves church humming the kick drum. We'll see you back here next time on Attaway Audio.